Hey everybody, this is Joe Price. So in this video, I'll be showcasing my updated Recursive Lunar event farm. In this updated farm, I've basically taken care of all of the flaws that were present in the initial version, and I have improved the cycling time as well significantly. Now it only takes about 10 and a half minutes to go through the entire lunar event. And of course it's recursive, so we can farm as many lunar events as we want, completely away from keyboard. Alright, so let's get the show underway, and then we'll discuss the improvements as we are farming. Alright, so here we are. Before I discuss anything that's on screen, we'll actually cycle through all the pillars and the Moonlord. We'll come back here, and then we'll discuss some of the things that were added. Alright, so I've already consumed a Wrath Potion and consumed Pumpkin Pie, and I already have everything equipped to begin summoning the dragon. It's usually a good idea to have at least 132 summon damage or more, just to make the farming as fast as possible. So we'll summon this dragon, equip a pygmy necklace to get one more segment, improve the damage that way, and equip an Ankh shield and also a celestial stone to boost the health regeneration as much as possible. And to get the recursive farming started, all I need to do is just pull the rightmost lever here. That will deactivate these white teeth, send me into this teleporter with the pressure plate there. And as soon as I finish the entire event, I'll just be teleported right back into this teleporter, get hoiked into this pressure plate again, and just begin the next lunar event. Alright, so let's start. Oh, and of course, as I'm going to be showcasing this arena, I'll be using free cam mode. This is, once again, the T-MEC community mod that I would advise for you to check out. I'll provide the link in the description box as before. Okay, so here we go. I'll activate free cam mode, shift the camera around here a little bit, and we can watch the action. So the cultists go down pretty quickly, and this particular farm is set for 25 seconds, and as soon as the 25 seconds elapses, we'll be teleported into the first pillar farm. Reattach the camera. Alright, so here we are at our first pillar farm. Now the frame rate drops a little bit here, so there's a lot going on, and I'm using recording software that also contributes to some frame rate reduction. But nonetheless, it's, I think, still watchable, and you can definitely tell what's going on screen. Alright, so let's talk about the improvements to the to these pillar farms. So I got rid of the timer-based system where it just count down for like 2.5 minutes, and replaced it instead with a detection system. Now, my thanks to a couple of forum users, one by the name of Drodin and another one by the name of Aeonic Eclipse, that provided these suggestions for me. And these suggestions basically led to the construction of this detection system. So the way the detection system works is as follows. There is this 5-second timer that, if it's allowed to fire, it will teleport the player out of this arena into the next pillar arena. However, the timer can get reset if any of these pressure plates in the spawn region, if any of those pressure plates are activated. Now, there are tons of pressure plates here. They line the spawn floor, and they're present on a lot of these platforms. And as you can see, the spawn rate is insane during the lunar event, which means that these pressure plates are going to get hit very, very often. Now, when a pressure plate gets hit, it'll send a dummy ghost down some hoik tracks, and what that will do is turn off and then immediately turn back on the 5-second timer, and that basically refreshes the timer. When the timer is refreshed, it'll take another 5 seconds before it fires off. But if it's constantly refreshed, then of course it won't fire off. Now, we're going to see in a moment the pillar go down, and when the pillar goes down, I have a sunflower here and a peace candle that greatly reduce the spawn rates outside of the lunar event. Lunar event is never affected by peace candles or sunflowers. And as you can see, I'm teleported out, and I'm going to be teleported into the next arena. So very, very convenient that the spawn rates are so low outside of the lunar event that basically there's that lull period of at least 5 seconds between activations of these pressure plates, causing the player to be teleported out. Again, I activated free cam mode so that way we can watch the action. Now, do keep in mind that this free cam mode, it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. So it doesn't affect the spawning of any enemies, but it's really convenient so that we can actually watch the action. So again, these enemies are spawning very, very often. The 5-second timer just keeps getting continuously refreshed. And there's one additional feature of this particular pillar farm, and that is there's an NPC house with an NPC on the far right. And the reason why the NPC is here is to take care of any pirate invasions or any Martian Madness events. If they, get triggered during this lunar event farming. For pirate invasions to take place, and for the Martian Madness events to take place, at least one NPC has to be within the vicinity of the player. So that's the actual trigger. And of course, once the dragon kills off the pirates or the Martians, then we just resume with the pillar farming. Alright, so as we saw in the previous farm, the previous pillar farm, as soon as this pillar goes down, we'll be teleported out of here pretty quickly thereafter. Yeah, so this is obviously a big improvement over the previous version. Having this detection system is of course way better than having a countdown timer. As I also mentioned in the previous video, the dragon doesn't actually target these pillars. Instead, the damage is incidental as the dragon is chasing down all these little mobs. Alright, so 5-second timer is about to fire. There it goes. And we get teleported into the next arena. Yeah, frame rates always dip for me here when I'm recording. When I'm not recording, frame rates are fine, usually between 30 and 60. Yeah, there's just too much happening on screen for it to not affect the frame rate significantly. But we'll manage. Shift the camera over a little bit more. Yeah, so this detection system, it's practically foolproof. I've done a lot of testing of this new version, and even if something were to go wrong here, there's actually a fail-safe back at the starting position, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video. So it's basically, there's no chance of anything going wrong here. Alright, pillar goes down. Once all these enemies are killed, we will be teleported into the next arena pretty quickly. Yeah, look at that. It's like spawn rate is extremely low once the pillar enemies are defeated. Now, the previous version of this farm had potentially an issue with this fourth and final pillar. Because a countdown timer was used previously, it was possible for there to be a fail right at this position if the pillar got taken down more than a minute before the countdown timer reached the end. And that's because it takes a minute for the Moonlord to spawn in, and if the Moonlord ever spawns in here, then we're basically dead. This damage prevention machine that we are using does not prevent any damage from the Moonlord. So we necessarily need to teleport into a specialized Moonlord arena. And with this new version of this farm, we'll be able to do so without any trouble. Yeah, it was especially problematic if the Vortex Pillar was the final pillar, because the Vortex Pillar usually goes down the fastest. Yeah, frame rate's getting better. Alright, we're almost done with all the pillars. This dragon is such an efficient killing machine. It was a godsend for farming. Alright, 5-second timer triggered, and here we are at the Moonlord Arena. Now, I made an alteration here, and it makes it difficult to stabilize the screen if I use free cam mode. So, we'll still be able to watch the Moonlord fight, but we won't be able to put the top half of the arena on screen. That's alright. The Moonlord will be within our view here, and we'll watch the dragon take down all the hearts. Now, I also made an adjustment at this particular arena. I basically altered the teleportation pattern. Previously, I basically had the player teleport in a clockwise fashion, but that led to some problems sometimes. It basically caused the dragon to circle the hearts and never touch it, whereas now the teleportation pattern is different. It's a figure 8 pattern. And that basically means that the dragon is always going to be targeting the eyes and the heart, and it'll take down the Moonlord pretty quickly. Now, it's possible that the Moonlord can hit us if the Moonlord spawns up top when we are going through the Hoik systems up top, but the Moonlord will never hit us more than 2 times, which means that we'll never die here. And so long as we can survive the initial hits, we pretty much won't take any hits thereafter. As you're seeing, we're evading all of the attacks. Yeah, dragon takes down the heart pretty quickly. And there we go. Now, let me just capture on screen the very top of this farm right here. As you can see, there's a countdown timer here. Now, this is set for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So that gives us ample time to take down the Moonlord, and we'll be teleported back to the starting position, and there are some additional features at the starting position which we'll talk about in a second. Yeah, so we're about 10 seconds away from getting teleported, so I'll reattach the camera. And here we are, back at home base. Now, gotta work fast here. So the cultists, they haven't spawned yet, and I have this really neat Cultist detection system engineered here. So basically, the cultists, they spawn 1 tile above this floor, and when they do so, they fall onto the floor, and one of the cultists will hit a pressure plate here, and when it hits the pressure plate, it'll teleport the player into the Hoik system and begin the next round of moon or lunar event farming. So this way, we'll get started with the next lunar event the moment that the cultists spawn. Now, if the cultists spawn ahead of the player actually arriving at this holding position, that's not an issue, because when the cultists spawn, they'll also activate this 3-second timer. So that way, when the player gets here, the timer will teleport the player immediately into the Hoik system. And then you saw right there, cultists spawned, and we got teleported immediately into the Hoik system, and we got started right away with the next lunar event. All right, so we'll watch the takedown of the cultist here. Get teleported into once again the first of 4 pillar farms. And it just continues like that over and over and over. Now, I'm actually going to teleport out of there without resuming the farming here. I just want to go back to the starting position just to talk about some other features. So at the very top, let me just get rid of this dragon too. At the very top, there's a failsafe. So there's a separate countdown timer that basically will teleport the player into the Hoik system even if the cultists do not spawn. Now, there's only one reason why the cultists would not spawn, and that's because something might have gone wrong at one of the pillar farms. If any of the pillars are still around, then of course the lunar event hasn't finished, and we'll have to kill off whatever pillars remain, and of course kill off the Moonlord. Yeah, so this way it forces the player to go through the entire cycle again. Of course, at any of the pillar farms, if there are no pillars there, the player will be teleported out of those farms pretty quickly because of the 5-second timer. Yeah, so really convenient to have this fail-safe, but from testing over the past week or so, I've run this farm overnight for a couple of nights, and it basically farmed without any hitches. So if you want to give this a shot for yourself, feel free to do so. Like I said, I'll make the map available for download, as I always do, and that way you can see it firsthand. I'll also provide a link to a guide that will feature schematics. That'll come a little bit later, but you can find the link to the guide in the description box. Alright guys, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video of this updated recursive lunar event farm. I have more farms to feature in subsequent videos. I have to do some mob farms, and of course I'm always going to be producing more engineering builds. Some more Hoiktronics builds are on the horizon as well. Alright guys, so that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.